Competitive multiplayer shooters really have not been the type of game that interests me for a long time. Mostly because a lot of these games try and go for realism, which means they have a really, really fast time to kill. And because of that, I never play for long enough to get good. And I always tend to be up against other people that get good. So I've kind of ignored the Rainbow Six series for quite a while now, right up until I got a review copy of Rainbow Six Siege for Google Stadia. And I played that and I was really impressed at how much fun I had, even though I was this, no skill noob playing against people who've been playing that game for a really long time. I was still able to have a lot of fun with it, especially because the game kind of gives you things to do when you die. That being said, I'm not willing to put in the time that is required to get good enough to be actually competitive at that game. So when Ubisoft announced Rainbow Six Extraction, which is essentially all of the mechanics of Rainbow Six Siege, where now instead of playing against other players, I'm playing with other players on my team, two other people on my team specifically, and we're going up against AI controlled aliens. That meant that, sure, my skill still matters, but not nearly as much, because I know that aliens aren't going to one-shot me because they know exactly how to play that way. Now, this is not a full review. I have not finished the game. I've only played a couple of hours. Big thank you to NVIDIA for sending me a review copy. But after doing a few full-fledged online missions, where I got to play with other actual people, I have to say this game is really impressive. I'm sure that if you've paid attention to my content at all before, you've heard me talk about risk versus reward in games, and I always really appreciate it when a developer will give players hard choices to make. And Rainbow Six Extraction does a really, really good job with this. So every mission that you play is broken down into submissions, and each submission has a goal that you have to achieve, and then you have two endpoints to go to. One endpoint that will be your extraction point, and you're done with the mission, you collect your XP and you move on. And then the other one will be an airlock, which will take you to the next submission. Now, somebody might say, oh, well, that's cool, but why, where's the risk reward here? Well, here's how the game works. You can't heal. So your characters, if you've lost some health, you now start the next submission with less health than you did at the beginning. You can find health boosters, which will give you some temporary bonus hit points, but those will slowly deplete over time. It's not a full heal. And so as you continue to play submission after submission, the game is going to get progressively harder. On top of that, the enemies get more difficult the more submissions you go on. So there's a lot of risk versus reward, because if you complete more submissions, obviously you're going to get a lot more XP. But you also run the risk of losing your operator. So if you've not played the Rainbow Six games before, the characters that you play as are called operators, and each operator has a specific skill set and loadout that you can customize to fit your play style best. However, if you get killed by the aliens that you're fighting against in the game, you cannot use that operator in the next mission. So let's say I choose the operator Lion. We go into submission number 2, and Lion gets killed in submission number 2. In the lore, they have like this weird thing that puts a bubble wrap around you almost. But then the aliens grab your character and they put you in a tree. And now the next time that you go to that particular map, your bonus mission is to try and rescue that character from the tree. And it's a really cool way to rescue them. It reminds me a lot of Alien Isolation, where when you're playing Alien Isolation, you walk up to a save point, you put your card in, and it takes some time for that save to happen. And while you're trying to save, you can look left and right. You're stuck in place. You can't get your weapons out, but you can look left and right and see, is there the alien coming to kill you or not? This is very, very similar. You'll walk up to the tree that is essentially holding that character hostage, and you can try and pull on them, and then the tree will send out these tendrils to the walls, which will then pulse in energy to have the tree fight against you as you're trying to rescue the operator. So then if you're by yourself, you have to stop rescuing, shoot those things in order to get rid of them. Or if you are playing with other players, then you will continue pulling on the operator's hand while the other two on your team will take care of those tendrils so that you can rescue them. Once you rescue them, you throw them on your shoulder, and now you are down to your pistol instead of your submachine gun or shotgun or whatever your particular operator is using. And then you have to get them to an extraction point to rescue them so that you can use them on future missions. Okay, having gone over all that, somebody might hear me say that and immediately your thought might be, well, what happens if I fail and then I fail again and then I fail again and I fail again? Do I run out of operators? Is it then game over? And no, that's not how it works. Basically, the way it works is if you go in and rescue an operator that you lost before, you will then get back on that operator some of the XP that they would have gotten. However, if you go back in and you fail to rescue that operator, the next time they will be back, but you will have lost the XP that you would have gained otherwise. It's a really cool way to penalize the player for, you know, not fulfilling an objective in a unique way, and I think it's incredibly cool. I think the graphics for the game look particularly nice. I'm playing on the NVIDIA 3080 tier, which means that you've got really, really fantastic graphics. I've been playing on PC, which is 1440p, 60 frames per second. I guess it can go up to 120 frames per second, but since I don't have a screen that is capable of that, I can't really take advantage of that. I think the graphics look really good. The sound design is fantastic. I was sitting here playing and recording the B-roll that you're probably watching right now, and my wife and my niece were sitting on the couch over there, and they were like, what is that sound? Because as you kill monsters, they leave behind this stuff on the ground, and when you step in it, it makes a really kind of gross squelching sound, which is awesome. But it also slows you down. So the aliens or the monsters, whatever you want to call them, the parasite, they have the ability to move at normal speed on that stuff. It really slows you, the character, down. So you have to be careful about where you kill the enemies. It's one more unique thing about this game, which feels like it's absolutely filled with unique mechanics, which I really like. So have you been playing Rainbow Six Extraction? Let me know what you think of it and where you're playing it. It's on all platforms and it has cross play. So no matter what platform you're playing on, you can play with your friends, which I think is fantastic. I'm really enjoying it after only just a couple hours with it, but I can't wait to play more. And if you want to see a full-on review of it, let me know in the comments down below.